Hello friend, welcome back to another in the series on trauma reaction. Today we're looking at the fight reaction. We've kind of done them in reverse, haven't we? Fight, flight, freeze and please. We've done them in reverse, and today we're looking at the fight reaction. In a lot of ways it's the most difficult one. It's certainly the most difficult one if we get stuck in that, and I'll unpack that and explore that in detail with you today. And we'll do a hypnotherapy as well, because like anything else, we can work with these issues by getting to the source of our problems and clearing that charge. We can start to ameliorate these defensive reactions that we develop. But let's talk about fight. So I always think of it as a cornered animal. So if we're in a dangerous situation, there's a threat, there's a threat to our survival. If we can fight, if there's a chance of that kind of working protectively, then we'll go into that fight reaction. And like a cornered animal, it can be really loud, it can be really vicious. Like an animal makes itself look bigger. And as humans, we can do that too. So it's a different way of dealing with danger, obviously, to flight, freeze, and pleasing. It's the most, blunt instrument, really. It's the sledgehammer kind of way of defensively reacting. And sometimes that can work. Some situations where that would work to protect us, to keep us alive. And so we can go to that. The qualities of fight are things like being assertive. A really good, healthy assertiveness is necessary at times in life. It links into boundary setting, being able to set and maintain good, firm, strong, healthy boundaries. It draws on qualities of strength, courage, leadership. There's real power. I call it our willpower. It really accesses into our divine will. And so when we use will in these positive ways, fighting might be just standing up for something or someone, standing up for our rights or standing up to protect ourselves or someone else. So good qualities are at the heart of it. And we're all wanting to be assertive at times. For a lot of people, that's the whole work, is developing more capacity to be assertive and to set boundaries and to say no to people. So nothing wrong with that. But like all these defensive reactions, if the trauma's been ongoing, really overwhelming, it's been something happening in childhood when we're really young, instead of it something we just use for that time and then move on, it's something that can get jammed up. And if we get jammed up in this fight reaction, it's the most problematic, really. The sort of ways of being, let's kind of, look at what a fight stance, a chronic fight defensive stance in us or someone else can look like. Being controlling, demanding, it's got to be our way. That can be very manipulative, but it's got to be our way. Demanding perfection from other people, very controlling. That can be a very kind of bullying, A-type energy to it, especially in men, tend to go to more the aggressive, physically intimidating bullying stance. In women, it can be more manipulative in ways of controlling. Obviously explosive, aggressive. Think of someone who flies off the handle really quickly. Really, whoa, you get that very strong aggressive reaction from someone. And that, of course, can be so destructive to other people, but it's coming from that cornered animal place. There tends to be a strong sense of entitlement, autocratic, my way or the highway. That's why I'm wearing black and white for this video, because it's very autocratic. It's black and white. It's very arrogant, really, in the entitlement that can show forward in that. No, it's got to be my way. I can't allow for any, flexibility in that. It's got to be my way. This can lead to things like, struggle with impulse control, temper, conduct disorders. These are all stemming really from this kind of trauma reaction. We dial it up and we've got narcissism. We've got this really narcissistic, selfish, egocentric, it's all about me. No, there's no room for anyone else. It's all about me, my way. There's no room for anyone else. It's really coming from that immaturity, it's coming from that defensiveness. And if we dial that right up, we've got sociopathy. We've got this people, the sociopaths, there's no empathy, no regard, no awareness even of other people's feelings. It's that blocked out. It's that lacking in awareness. So it can lead to some very serious issues, different to the other trauma reactions. We probably all know someone, we've encountered people, we can all imagine this type of person. And look, it saddens me, talking about this one, because these people really, at the core of it, I think are the weakest. I think they're stuck at the youngest age, stuck at the earliest stage of development. Like the narcissistic type, it's really in that first year or two of development. So, they're really coming from the most vulnerable place. And if we're stuck in that place, it's like, there's got to be this very intense defensive reaction to somehow balance it out. And so what you get is that the loudest people, the most bullying people, the most intensely aggressive, narcissistic types, under that loud bluster, are really the weakest. So there's so many variables as to how someone can wind up like this, but think of it as someone who's the most immature, the most, disconnected from their soul, their inner strengths, the most, isolated and fearful in that. And so you get this empty vessels making the most noise sort of pattern. So, someone in a chronic fight position, really it's very sad because there's such a deep level of vulnerability and woundedness in there. But the problem is it's really hard to work with people who are like that, You think of it personally too. We all go here at times. We can all do a bit of this. We're talking about the extreme, someone who's very stuck in this all the time. But when we're in that stance, we're in that cornered animal sort of stance, well, how do we hear? How do we address the vulnerability? And in therapy, it's all about bringing a loving awareness to these vulnerable places. But it's very hard to get through that sort of defensiveness. And I've found when people have been in the therapy space, well, it's very hard to go deep, and I can push, I can, invite people into some deeper awareness, but, often it doesn't last. Those insights don't last. So they're back in that defensive reaction. So it takes a lot of work for someone in that position to really, get some significant change. And the harder it is, the less likely it is to happen. But if you're watching this, it's probably not who you are. It's probably not where you're coming from in that extreme version. So if we think of it as, okay, do I have a capacity to face this? Can I use some of that strength, that courage, that will that gets directed outwardly as a defense? Can I bring that to inner work? Can I bring some of that strength and robustness and courage, to facing my demons, to getting to these very dark, stuck shadow areas in my psyche? I hope you're capable of that. I think if you've got to this point in our conversation today, you're most likely someone who has that capacity. And so if we're working at it at that level, let's understand that we want a bit of fight. We all want to have access to that. Maybe we're also a pleaser, or maybe we also go to flight or freeze. But let's work on that fight component. And I'd like to jump into a bit of inner process to work with this now. So when you're ready, and this is maybe a familiar pathway for you now, having done a number of these videos before perhaps, I'd invite you to close down the eyes, take a few nice, long, easy breaths, and just notice how it feels to turn your awareness from the outside world to the inside world. Take a moment to feel the support of the chair, whatever you're sitting or lying on. Take a moment to notice the safety, the support for you in this moment. Safe in the room that you're in, the space that you're in. Safe in this moment to relax, let go of the outer world, and turn your awareness inward. And I'd invite you to imagine a bodyguard, a soldier, a warrior, a protective presence. This might be someone you know, this might be someone actually in your life, or it might be someone you just create in your imagination right now. And it might be more than one person. It might be a whole team. It could be an army. It could be more than just people. It might be an animal or a spiritual presence. But have at least one bodyguard, one powerful, strong, courageous being with you right now in your imagination. One person or animal or being that absolutely loves you, cares about you, has your back. And as you imagine this presence, just feel what it's like to have them here beside you, behind you, with you, right here with you. Just breathe in this awareness. Feel it, see it, get a really deep sense of what it's like to have your bodyguard or bodyguards, soldier or soldiers, the strength, the love, the care with you. To know that you're not on your own. And now, imagine moving with your bodyguard or your team inward. And you're going in search of the most scared, terrified, vulnerable, perhaps very young, very little part of you that lies within. Finding your strength, your courage, feeling the support of your protector. Go looking for this very scared little part of you. They might be hiding behind the furniture. They might be cowering under the bed. They might be hiding in the cupboard. But I want you to go and find this part of you. March into that place, that scene, wherever this part of you it is. It might be very, very young. But go to this part of you. Connect to this part of you. Ever so gently reach out and make contact with this part of you. Maybe you reach out and touch their hand or put an arm around them. So gently. And yet so powerfully as the adult you, as the greater you, with your guard, your protector, your soldier here, connecting with them, bringing this love, this support, this protection to them, and gather them up in this. Get them out of that place. Pick them up, carrying them out, or walk out with them, just leading, taking this part out, wrap them up in a warm blanket if necessary, just holding them, getting them somewhere safe. resting with this part of you, letting them feel your presence, the presence of your protector or protectors here, holding them, letting this part of you know that it's over. It's over. Whatever that was, whatever that trauma, whatever that ordeal, whatever that difficulty, whatever that stress, whatever, it might have been an outright horror show, but whatever that was, it's over now. You're safe now because time's gone past, we've grown up, and I'm here with this great, powerful protection here now to help you, to protect you, to love you, to save you, to be with you. And we're never going to let you go. Never are you going to be alone in that again. And just bringing this strength, this loving presence through to this part of you. And notice how they're responding. They might be in quite a degree of fear or shock, stress. You just gently say, it's okay, you take as long as you need to take this in. We're not going anywhere. But as you hold this vulnerable part of you in this loving protection, just notice how they start to respond. Is it sinking in yet? You just keep reinforcing this message. You just keep holding them tight. Gently reinforce this message. Keep seeing it in your imagination. Keep sensing it somehow in your body and in your feelings. And notice when there's a shift. Notice when this part of you starts to relax, starts to breathe a bit more deeply, starts to let go into this protection. Maybe there's tears of relief. Maybe there's a deep sense of relief. And you just keep reinforcing the truth here. And the truth is, little one, it is over. We did survive. And you're not on your own anymore. I'm here now to give you the love and protection you need. Our bodyguard, our protectors are here to look after us both. And just amplifying that feeling one more time of safety, of strength, of protection, that fierce protective will, the pure essence of fight response, strength and assertiveness and courage and leadership, of this beautiful use of will power. And just notice how this part of you is looking and feeling now. How are they breathing? How are they moving now compared to before? Same or different? And as you embrace this part so they merge back inside you, just notice how they look and feel as they settle back inside you. And thanking your protector or your protectors, your bodyguards, just thanking them for their support, and just notice how willing and keen they are to be here for you as often as required. In fact, they're always here for you. And feeling them merging back inside, because of course they are a part of you. You are a part of them. All parts of self, whole integrated merge into the oneness that you are. And the healing shifts from today. This process will continue to work their way automatically through you without you having to think about it or do a thing. As you gently bring your awareness now back into the space, coming back up to the surface of beta brainwave, waking consciousness, ever so gently, opening your eyes when you're ready, coming back into full waking awareness. Be here now. So how did you go? How did you find that? This is really deep, strong medicine. Getting to the black and white core of fight reaction. Getting right into the guts of that kind of blunt trauma that leads to that sort of defensive reaction. Now you can play with this, you can repeat this process as often as you wish. More the better, generally, with this work. Because what we're doing in this kind of work is we're reprogramming our subconscious mind-body out of stress, out of trauma reaction, to let us know that we're safe. And it's not then, it's now. We're bringing these parts with us into the present and healing them out of that reaction. And even the strongest fight reaction is amenable to this. It will change with this. If we did it deeply and strongly and often enough, we would find some change here. You know, change is always possible. With God, all things are possible. It's just that it requires strength, courage, determination applied in the right way to make that happen. Hope you found this interesting, useful, helpful. My Power of Mind audio program, that's a good step from here if you want to learn more about self-hypnosis, how it works, and to get more guided practice in getting used to this dropping in hypnotherapy work. I'd invite you to have a look at that on my website. There's lots of other free writings there and other resources there. Thank you. All the best on your healing journey. Here for you. Just send us any questions you might have. Okay. God bless.